Hey, what up, everybody? It's Animac here from Anime Uproar, that YouTube channel that talks about One Piece a lot. But once long ago, I was the One Piece virgin who never read or watched One Piece. And then I went through this whole podcast thing where I caught up to One Piece over the course of a long time, and it was an experience that changed my life.
As it should,
So
as it should.
yes, and I got my co-host Briggs here with me, who went through that journey with me. You know, he held my hand while I lost my virginity. It was quite something. And we still run this podcast. As you guys know, we discuss the new chapters as they come out. But we thought we'd give it a shot and bring in a new virgin into the podcast and start going through the story again from the beginning with a brand new virgin who's never read or seen One Piece and kind of see how that goes and if you guys like it, if you want us to keep going. And our virgin, the honor of being our virgin for the One Piece version 2.0 is none other than Poseidon, a VTuber from Mythos, and an actual IRL girl, a real girl.
Hello, hi everybody. Thank you for
Welcome,
having
Poseidon.
me.
And you are from Mythos, the VTuber agency where Greek gods became hot anime girls online, correct?
I don't believe that. I don't
Yeah.
believe that they're actual girls. They gotta have voice changers or something. I see VTubers, and until I see a selfie or something, I don't believe it.
It's true. Every VTuber is actually a man with a voice changer.
Real girls
I
don't actually. Yeah, I agree.
I do agree with that.
Man.
But you know, what real girl would agree to watch One Piece or read it? Come on. But we do appreciate Poseidon, you being here. You are very busy. You know, you're from Atlantis. You have a lot of administrative duties there, and yet you are here with us. So we really appreciate it.
I'm
Welcome.
really excited. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I go ahead, go ahead.
it's good to have you. It's good to have you. We're covering Romance Dawn today. It's just like the first arc of One Piece, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to start off general.
Oh no.
Are you having fun like getting into One Piece here? Like, did you enjoy it so far?
So I honestly have had a blast. I watched the first 7 episodes, and it's been really fun. It really reminds me, and you can kill me for this. The only anime I feel like I've watched, like binged, in a way, was Fairy Tail, and I finished Fairy Tail like in the span of 2 months. And it's the only anime I've ever really watched in like large portions. And I kind of am getting that same feeling I got from watching Fairy Tail when I was watching One Piece. And I had to kind of restrain myself from going a little further because I didn't really want to get my thoughts for like the other episodes mixed up with the thoughts for like the ones we're going to be talking about today. But it's been a great time. I actually really, really enjoy it. I only have seen the live action prior to this.
Oh, so
So,
you
yeah.
you saw the live action prior to this, so you do have a little bit of a base.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And the live action only covers up until the East Blue, so you really haven't seen anything yet. You're still just a baby.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the live action cut out a lot of it.
Oh,
So.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Did yeah. But it is good for what it is. Live action, definitely. It could have been a lot worse, as we know with live action. So you know, kudos
Oh,
to
yeah.
it. But yeah, definitely it cuts out a lot. It merges certain characters, takes out a bunch of other characters. So yeah, it's definitely different medium and everything. But you know, Mihawk is a legend in the live action. So I do respect that a lot. Yeah. So as Briggs said, we're covering Romance Dawn and sort of that introduction to all the characters and to Luffy and the little flashback with Shanks that is so crucial. Even to this day, we look back. You know, we're 1,126 chapters. I think the 26th chapter is coming out this week. So we have a lot of material for One Piece, and even to this day, we still talk about some of the scenes that we are going to be covering here. So it's a big
Yeah,
deal.
it's true. Like, there's relevant stuff to this day in like these early arcs, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah. So start like taking mental note of things. Well, I mean, as we go on the journey, we'll definitely be like, "Hey, do you remember this?" and like kind of and help you along. But I know everyone wants to know as well. Do you have a favorite character so far?
Oh, I really like Zoro. And
Let's
I think it might
go.
partially be because I really enjoyed him in the live action. But I kind of just love like the tough guy, but also dumbass energy. that he
Yeah.
radiates. So yeah, I really enjoy Zoro. I actually really enjoy Nami as well. I haven't gotten too far into where like we're getting to know Nami, but the parts I've seen Nami in the first 7 episodes, she's pretty cool. I really like her.
So
Yeah.
this is how much Poseidon must have liked One Piece. He was only supposed to watch the first 4, but she watched 7 instead.
I did.
She couldn't stop.
It's funny
Yeah.
because I also remember really liking Zoro too, and I remember Nami being my favorite member of the crew for like the longest time up, maybe even up to the time skip, because I loved how funny she was. I loved how sneaky she was. She was relatable to me. I was like, she doesn't mess around. She sees a danger. She's like, oh, I'm out of here. I'm not crazy, right? So I was like, man, I really, respect her that she's strategic and smart and clever and all that type of stuff. So. Yeah, I thought I remember that being like a big thing while I was going through it. So it's cool that you like both Zoro and Nami a lot.
It's gonna be interesting
Yeah.
to see if her favorite character changes along the journey. Because I think for me, it was Zoro at first too, and then slowly I became a fanboy of someone else, which we'll talk about when they get introduced. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. You like Zoro so far. Do you want to like try to walk us through kind of like your journey, like favorite moments and like certain scenes you remember?
So, I particularly want to highlight the first episode because the first episode, admittedly, made me, I feel like, laugh the most. I love how carefree Luffy is.
Yes.
Like, he's on a pirate ship with a bunch of, like, what is her name? Alvina? Is it
Alvida.
Alvina, yeah. And there's just a bunch of people on there who are ready to whoop his ass and kill him, but he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's so confident and he's like, nah, you guys don't have anything on me. And here's Kobe screaming for his life, like, oh my god, don't mess with them. They're gonna kill you. And he's just like, no, I got it. And then he absolutely kicks all of their ass. I love the confidence that Luffy has.
Oh yeah, I think carefree is a great way to describe Luffy. Definitely relevant, and yeah, he's definitely confident, and he wants to become the Pirate King. He's on his journey, and like I feel like nothing will stop him. He speaks so openly and freely, versus Kobe, such a timid contrast, right? Like he's so shy in comparison, where it's like he just wants to be a Marine, and it's like hard for him to say. Meanwhile, Luffy's like, yeah, I'm gonna be the fucking king.
Yeah, so it is funny because in that scene, Kobe is like so hesitant to say anything against like Alvida and the pirates because he's been their prisoner for 2 years and he's learned like to survive. He has to be very like timid and just obey orders. And Luffy's just like, I'm gonna be the pirate king no matter what. And he's like, what do you mean? What if you die? He's like, well, if I die, at least I tried. It was worth it. And he's like, he can't even Kobe can't even fathom someone having this mindset, and it like opens his kind of mind so much to realize that yeah, you can be like, I'll follow my dream no matter what, and if I die, well then at least I die doing something worthwhile, right?
Yeah, and it definitely motivates Kobe and changes his mindset a bit. And then yeah, you get to see Luffy kick Alvida's butt and the rest of the crew. You see his crazy devil fruit fucking rubber man powers. But I guess you already knew that because of the live action, so there's no surprise there.
Something I kind of want to highlight, what you were saying is, in that small arc, you do see Kobe go from somebody who's very timid, but being with Luffy, I remember that, I think it was episode 3 or 4, where they're leaving the island after they defeated, Captain Morgan. Kobe's standing up for himself, and he's putting his foot down, which was something he wasn't previously able to do, but he was only able to do it because he saw how confident Luffy is and how like passionate he is about his dreams.
Yeah, you get to see,
it inspires Kobe.
100%. You get to see Kobe even punch Luffy back for like when he was talking shit or whatever. You get to see him like openly speak to the Marines like, "Hey, I'm gonna be a Marine with integrity" or whatever. Like the amount of confidence he's showing compared to the first episode is crazy in such a small amount of time.
Yeah. The character development was really nice, and I'm actually really excited to see Kobe because I'm going to assume if it kind of is similar to how the live action works, we are going to see Kobe very soon, hopefully.
Yeah,
I do
sure.
look
Yeah,
forward to
we
seeing
definitely
him.
will see Kobe very soon. Yep. You're right.
Oh no, I'm scared now.
So the live action does
Kobe's
do
there.
things a little bit differently, just a
Oh,
little
I
bit.
see.
Like for the most part, like obviously you're gonna see Kobe again, and like it just some things in the story are put into different places in the live action.
Yeah. And speaking of
That's
which,
fair.
in the manga, which is how I read it initially, we get the Shanks flashback right away.
Oh.
and then we go to him being Luffy being 10 years older and getting on starting his journey and meeting Kobe and Alvida and so forth. In the anime, you get a flashback later, right?
I think you get it like episode 3.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
yeah, the anime starts off with Luffy in the barrel then going to Alvida's ship.
Yeah, after
The
yeah.
manga starts off with the flashback back and then goes to that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
so the flashback kind of explains, if you're an anime watcher and you see like Luffy kicking all this ass and having all these powers, then the flashback explains that how he got the powers, but also that he trained for 10 years. Since he had the fruit for 10 years,
mhm.
he trained with it before he left his village in order to pursue becoming a pirate. And I remember that's something I wrote down in my notes when I went to talk about it initially, because I was like, okay, so it wasn't just like, okay, he gets the powers and right away he's like the strongest dude,
Yeah.
right? He
Hmm.
was spent 10 years actually training and earning his strength, and then he ends up killing the sea beast or kicking the sea beast's ass before he leaves. And then okay, so he's strong now. So then when you see him kicking Alvida's ass and the Alvida pirates and stuff, you know where that's coming from.
So
And in the anime,
do you
yeah.
think that's better, Animac? Do you think like starting with the flashback makes more sense than starting with the him on Alvida's ship?
Well, you can only go through it once. So I like the way the manga was, um, because it does explain how he got there and how he got so strong.
Hmm.
However, I mean, when you get the flashback, you get the same thing in the anime, right? First, you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh, who is this guy? Why is he so strong? What's this power he has? But then when you get the flashback, you're like, okay, I get it, right? So I don't know if there's a huge difference about the order, but I like the manga order.
I think it starts off pretty like I think the reason they probably did it is they wanted to start off with like an action scene with like Luffy, the main character, and introducing Luffy like right away in his current age. I think that's probably the mindset. And it was kind of cool that like after the like whatever the mini arc happens, it's almost as though he's telling the story to Zoro. I think that's how they did it in the live action. Did they do that like that in the anime? Do you remember Poseidon? Like was the flashback like kind of like him telling the story to Zoro or no?
I don't recall it being like that.
I don't,
Either that or I'm
maybe that was in a different
misremembering.
thing. Maybe I'm making it up because it definitely implied later that Zoro knows this backstory, but I
Oh,
can't
I
remember.
see. Yeah, because, like, if I didn't watch the live action, right,
Hmm.
and I went into the anime completely, like, blinded, right, not having no idea about the devil fruit, no idea about Shanks, and we're going straight into, like, Luffy being stretchy and kicking ass, I feel like I would have been a lot more confused. And I'm just kind of like, how does he have these powers that, you know,
No one else has.
nobody else has? And I feel like the flashback would have been great in the beginning as opposed to like being kind of towards the end of the first arc. It would have made me understand more, but because I watched the live action,
It
I
didn't
already
really
kind
matter.
of knew.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter, but I feel like for somebody who hasn't, they would be incredibly confused.
So how was your first introduction to like Zoro and the Marines once you get to the island?
So, I was the Zoro, just him being like, nah, I can get out of this by myself. I don't need anybody. I'm just like, stop being stupid. Just get the help.
What a stubborn
And
boy.
then the Marines, I really like, what was it, the son? He's
Helmeppo.
kind,
Nepo.
yeah, the guy with the really weird haircut. He was really funny. His dad is Captain Morgan, if I remember
Yes.
correctly. He was a really cool character. I kind of wish I saw a little more of him, if I'm being honest. I feel like he was gone a little too soon.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was definitely quick in the anime.
Yeah.
But I guess definitely a big thing is like, dude, you got this fucking corrupt asshole dudes. Like, yes, Helmeppo's funny.
Hmm.
But yeah, you definitely see some corruption early on. You realize that like things aren't always black and white, right? Like you have Luffy, who's a pirate, who everyone just assumes is gonna be bad, is like not bad, or not necessarily bad. And then the Marines, who Kobe's like, oh, the Marines are all justice, and then you meet fucking Helmeppo and Accent Morgan right away, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're kind of, even the Marines themselves don't really find themselves very fond of them.
Yep.
And it's funny because I remember in my notes uh, thinking that Helmeppo was so over the top, like cartoonishly villainy, I was like, man, Helmeppo must be the Aizen of One Piece. Like he's just making everyone think he's this useless like moron, but in reality, he's the mastermind behind everything. Was I right? We'll have to find
We'll have to
out.
find out. Honestly, Helmeppo might be the One Piece. That haircut might be the One Piece.
That's where it was the whole time.
Yeah,
And also, I just want to say that Helmeppo was great in the live action.
he was.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was a silly, silly guy.
I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. So when you get there, Zoro's on the post being stubborn because
Yeah.
what was it? Helmeppo brought like a fox into a bar, and then Zoro kicked its ass because it was like a wild animal. And then Zoro agrees to like go a month without eating in order for them like to not kill the children or something. I don't remember exactly, or sentence the children. And then yeah, Luffy shows up, offers to grab his swords and save the day, and they join a crew, a 2-man crew.
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny how like quick Zoro went from being like, I'm a pirate hunter, why would I ever join your crew? And then he being like, you know what, why not?
You know what? Fuck
Why
it.
not?
Yeah, and the other thing is, it's funny because before Luffy even meets Zoro, Kobe is like, Kobe takes them to the town where the Navy base is, right, from Alvida's island, and Luffy's like, "Wow, you just arrived where we were going," and Kobe's like, "Yeah, that's like the minimum of traveling by sea. Like, where are you going?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've just kind of been floating around," and he's like, "Bro, you need a navigator." Like he tells them at like that early point, you need the navigator, and even though he makes a crew with Zoro, as we know, they are not navigators.
No.
No, they're not. They both don't know what they're doing, which I think is so funny because you see Luffy who's like, I'm gonna be king of the pirates, and he has no idea how to be one.
Yeah.
Doesn't know how to have organize a crew. He's just recruiting people and he's like learning, which I think is really funny.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he
just
sees the
starting
big
his journey.
picture.
He's very naive, but he knows what he wants, and hopefully the boys he recruits will fill the gaps. You know.
Yeah, Luffy knows the big picture, but yeah, the gaps, like you said, he needs people to fill in those gaps.
I just think it's so funny. They start off on the little boat, and
Yeah.
Luffy's like, I do have a ship, because Zoro's like, do you even have one? And it's like the tiniest boat ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a little rowboat.
How did you feel about like the you said you liked the first fight with Luffy on an Alvida ship. How did you feel about the fight with like the Marines and Axe Head Morgan and stuff?
I thought it was really cool. I really like I really like Morgan a lot. His design was really cool and the way he fights was
Mhm.
really cool. Um I really enjoyed it.
Upon rewatch, it was cool seeing like Zoro and Luffy kind of have like some chemistry and like trust each other and kind of fight together so early on. I didn't remember that, so I thought that was pretty cool.
They were meant to be on the same
Yeah.
crew.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of the final punches on Halmeppo was like Axe Head Morgan was like right behind Luffy, about to fucking like hit him in the back and like kill him, but he knew Zoro would like save the day. Like the trust was great.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a period before Zoro is released when he's kind of like awaiting death or whatever, where he's like kind of saying F you to everyone, including Luffy.
Hmm.
But then after Luffy helps him out, they very quickly bond.
Yeah. Also, it's I feel like the second anyone hears that Luffy wants to be the king of the pirates and the way he says it, I feel like Zoro like wants to be the world's greatest swordsman. So right away they bonded over having like insane dreams over the top, and like Luffy's even crazier than Zoro's. And Luffy even has a line like I would have nothing but the best on my crew. Like it makes sense for you to have that goal because I'm gonna need it since I'm gonna be the king. Like it's just like a great dynamic right away, and you'll see time and time again like Luffy's over the top dream influencing the people around him, and I think that's part of the reason why Zoro's like, well, fuck it, I'll join right away. Like he kind of turned. You mentioned it, Poseidon, that like he was like, I'm a pirate hunter. Why would I join you? To being like, all right, screw it, I'll join you. Doesn't matter. Even if I'm notorious, I'll still be the greatest. I'll still be able to achieve my dream. I think it's like definitely influenced by Luffy.
Which
Yeah,
makes
and
him such a great character, right? Being able to positively influence the people around him.
Yeah, that's definitely like a trope or a character trait in anime that we see a few times, or like every now and then, and it's one I definitely like.
yeah, and so we already even in this early stage, we're seeing two people heavily inspired and influenced by Luffy, Kobe and Zoro, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Luffy does have that charismatic impact on people, even though he doesn't exactly know what he's doing for many, in many cases, right? But he has like that kind of way of bringing people together and towards a common goal and kind of towards himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I also wanna. We definitely need to talk about the flashback as well, Poseidon. If you wanna, is there anything about that you want to talk about?
With Shanks, correct?
Yes.
Honestly, it made me really emotional for some
Oh.
reason.
What's
I
what
was
scene
just like,
specifically?
the whole when he was saving Luffy from the
Mm-hmm.
sea
Oh
monster.
yeah, yeah.
And then Luffy, feeling responsible and blaming himself for Shanks losing his arm, and he's just like, "No, it's just an arm. Don't worry about it, Luffy."
I got another
And I
one.
feel like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying like yeah, like, it's only an arm. I got another one. Sorry to cut you off.
I got
Continue.
it. Oh no, no, you're fine. Um, but that whole flashback scene, um, you could see how much Shanks cares about Luffy, and I really enjoyed it. It really pulled on my heartstrings. God, there was actually one episode during my watch that made me cry a lot. I think it was maybe I'm going off of the arc that I was
You're good. You're
supposed
good.
to watch, but because now we're talking about emotional stuff. I was crying a lot during the dog episode.
Oh my God! You got to the dog episode already. That was so
I
emotional.
did. I cried so much at the end, and I was just like, "Oh no!" I don't know. When it comes to animals and stuff, I get
Yeah.
like super duper emotional. So when they were beating up the dog, the
Did you get?
Buggy's
Yeah. Did you get the
big
dog
dog.
flashback already? Where like you see why he's
Yeah,
there?
yeah, because his owner
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to get like a doctor's appointment or something," and he never comes back. That one was like so sad.
I'm pretty sure I cried watching that too upon rewatch for sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's always the
But
animals, and then they have the music playing in the background. See, like I tend to prefer the manga, but the one thing about the anime that hits is like any sad moment with the music or any badass moment with the music. Like I get chills or I start like getting emotional.
Yeah,
mhm.
so that's true. The manga is great for pacing and only getting the canon material, focusing on that, no filler, no drawn out scenes.
Mhm.
Like next time on Dragon Ball Z, like where it's like the half the episode nothing happened. It was just like them powering up. But the thing you definitely miss out on are the musical elements and like the voice acting and stuff, which do really add when done well. They really add to the experience.
Mhm.
Um, so Poseidon got it, by the way, guys, has decided to watch the anime instead of read, which is completely okay. Like she gets to choose whatever she wants to do. However, I will warn you, the filler does start to get bad, and like you could skip filler arcs or whatever, but like some of the episodes are very bad pacing. I recommend
Oh,
I recommend One Pace. I want to hear what chat thinks about that, or like what like people think about it in the comments. So feel free to recommend like if you guys are against One Pace or for it. I personally like One Pace because it just like cuts out all the filler and makes it a little bit more streamlined. Especially like if we want to do this podcast like a little bit more frequently, it'll be hard for her to watch a million episodes with filler.
Yeah,
that's fair.
we're skipping Skypiea, right?
No, you're crazy. Oh, that's a troll. That's a troll. Okay, okay. I
I'm
almost fell
just
for it.
joking.
I almost fell
Because
for it.
remember the whole story that people had, like, oh, Skypiea was kind of pointless, and then it's like, no, Skypiea was so important. What?
Dude, they're all these arcs are so important.
I will say that was something that I did take a note on. Was the pacing of the episodes, the first 7 episodes, it did feel like it was a little bit unnecessarily slow in certain parts
Oh my goodness
where it's
gracious.
just
If you think this is
it's
slow, I think it gets worse.
you think it gets worse?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely gets worse because these early parts, when they were making the anime, it started after the manga already had some content. So in these early parts, they're not really doing filler. they rearrange some order, but not doing filler. Once they get to the point where the anime is closer to being caught up to the manga, that's when they really start dragging things out.
I
That's why I
agree.
also think One Piece is fine. I know VTubers can't read, so if you
Yeah.
just did One Piece, I think that would be fine.
I think it doesn't help that I'm also a TCG player. We don't read.
Yeah,
Oh my god, same, dude. I play Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like
Um,
the amount of duels I've lost is because we just don't read.
yeah. So if you guys like Pokemon trading card game and other trading card games, Poseidon actually is a huge fan and a competitor even
yeah.
in the Pokemon TCG like regionals and stuff like that. So she streams that a lot on her Twitch, makes YouTube videos about it as well. So definitely check her out. Um, at Poseidon Mythos, right?
Yeah, at
And
Poseidon
Google how to
Mythos.
spell Poseidon. And then when you know the spelling, then you can find at Poseidon Mythos on social media. I don't know. My phone is talking to me. Never mind.
Someone
Oh
said One
no.
Piece skips some things that are important way later. Does it really? Because One Piece is supposed to have everything that's canon from the manga. So I don't know if that's necessarily true. I've Which studio anime good? Which studio hasn't even come out yet? This is why I don't listen to the fucking comments. They're like One Piece bad, which studio good? Which studio hasn't even like it's a remake that we don't even like. Nothing's that we haven't even experienced it yet. It's not out, right?
Yeah, it might be great, but it's gonna be out in years and years, bro.
Yeah. I've watched One Piece and One Piece for like the dub and stuff, and like from what I could tell as a manga reader, I think it does a pretty good job. I also recommend watching like certain filler arcs, but I'll let Poseidon know what to watch and what not to watch if we decide to do that.
Hmm.
We did skip over a few things within the flashback that I thought were pretty like important. There's a cool bar scene with Shanks. Like, you get to see Luffy eat the fruit, but you also get to see like the bandits come in
Oh
and start
yeah, the
like
ones that are like,
The
"Where's my
Mountain
drinks?"
Bandits.
yeah. I don't know. What did you think of that scene? Like where they come in and start like spilling drinks and breaking glass and stuff.
I was just like, is that what like the quote unquote bad pirates are?
Yeah.
These are the bad guys who are here to just cause trouble and take from people.
Hmm.
Um, but I thought that scene was really cool, and how quick Shanks and Luffy were able to kind of act upon it. And you see like young Luffy all tough trying to fight these guys when he's just a little kid.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
It's definitely a cool like contrast. I feel like Shanks is like trying to teach him a lesson. Like, hey, like you don't need to get all angry and kill people and fight just for like over a spilled drink type of thing. I think he was trying
Pick
to
and
teach.
choose.
Yeah, pick and choose your battles. Exactly, that's what he said, right? Versus like Luffy, I feel like is so gung ho and has like a vision of what a pirate should be at a young age, and Shanks is kind of like breaking that mold for him. But then Luffy, still being a stubborn kid, like goes and tries to fuck up the bandits. And because
Yeah.
Luffy thought that like Shanks was just being a coward and he's actually secretly weak, and then Shanks actually shows up later on when Luffy confronts him, and you get to see how strong Shanks and the boys really are.
Yeah, I thought it was really cute, looking back on it and rereading it now, how Luffy was pissed off about Shanks avoiding conflict initially. Because he was like, these pirates should be badasses and they're freaking weak and they just let these bandits walk all over them. But then when Shanks wasn't there and the bandits returned and started bad-mouthing Shanks, even though Luffy was also talking shit about him, he's like, how dare you talk bad about Shanks? And that's why he ended up getting in trouble and almost killed by the bandits, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was funny.
Yep,
Because like
and-
he was insulting Shanks, but it's like, I won't let these stupid bandits insult Shanks.
That is cute.
I could only do it, not you.
Yeah, that was cute. And then you get to see like, oh, when someone spills a drink on Shanks, not worth it. But then when the guy was fucking with Luffy, they literally killed a guy. I think that's like the first death in One Piece. Lucky Roo just shoots a guy in the side of the head.
Yeah, because he pointed the gun at Shanks, which is no joke.
Did that surprise you at all, Poseidon? Like to see a death so early on?
It did, and then it made me kind of think as well, because I remembered there was like the 4 Kids dub
Yeah.
of this. How did the 4 Kids dub handle this part?
So
that was my first thought.
he got shot with a cap gun in the 4 Kids dub.
Oh,
and,
what?
and he's like, don't worry, he'll wake up later. When like that misses the whole point of the scene, because like the whole point of the scene is like someone puts a gun to Shanks' head, And Shanks makes a comment like, guns are for threats, not actions. No, wait. Guns are for actions, not threats. Oh my god. Like they're not for making threats. Like if you pull up a gun, you better be prepared to like use it and be prepared to die. Because if you're willing to kill someone, like if you're willing to kill Shanks, then he's willing to kill you. But he's not going to fight over a spilled drink, you know? So the second a gun gets pointed to Shanks' head, that's when Lucky Roo blows his head off with like a nice little... I think it's a nice moment and a nice line from Shanks.
Yeah, it kind of... Because Shanks and his guys were completely silly until this point, right? They were just kind of being silly and goofing off. But that really drives home that, no, this is serious business.
Yep, exactly. Like this is life or death. They're betting their lives on being pirates, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's the risk you take.
Yeah. And speaking of risks, Shanks loses his arm. You already mentioned this, Poseidon, but like pretty crazy scene.
It was that was one of the more emotional scenes. But it really goes to show like how much Shanks cares about Luffy. And the relationship Luffy also has with Shanks, with the way he reacted. But that entire scene was really cool. It just also shows how strong Shanks is, because that monster was so much bigger than all of them.
Oh, yeah. But there's a moment where like Shanks just tells it to get lost or to beat it or to fuck off, basically, and it swims away. And
it respects him.
It respects him. Okay, I was going to ask, like, what did you think of that scene? Like, what are your, like, thoughts? Generally, you think like it was like, oh shit, this guy's tough. It respects him.
Yeah, that's what I was like. You know, he must be a big deal or some sorts, right? For these like sea monsters that are like 10 times, 15 times their size to be able to just like, you know what, I'm not messing with that. I know better than that. And
you're saying the monster just pussied out, basically.
Basically, yeah.
I love hearing like someone's first impression of One Piece. It's so great. Yeah, he loses his arm, and then he does give him his like very notorious, or not notorious, very like famous straw hat that we get to see for the rest of the series, right? Shanks is the one who gives it to him, which is important to note.
And yeah, it was very symbolic. Luffy loves that hat. I think there was one scene, if I remember, maybe I don't know if I'm mixing this up with my watch of the live action. I watched the live action, I think exactly a year ago as well. Where Luffy does lose his hat in Legacy, and then you just see how much he freaks out.
Yeah,
because he's just like, no, I can't lose this hat. This is everything to me.
That's how he that's his relation to Shanks, but also like he calls it his treasure. Right,
guys. Has it been a year since the live action came out?
It has.
Damn.
What the fuck is happening with time, bro?
Time fucking flies. It's actually crazy.
I feel like it was like 6 months ago tops.
Let me see. One Piece live action release date. It was released August 31st, 2023.
Oh my god. So yeah, essentially we all watched it right away, so we watched it more than a year ago.
I think next year the new one's coming out, right?
Yeah, I think they are filming the second season already.
Yeah, I think it's scheduled for next year, but I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think there was some talk of it potentially being delayed because of that strike from last year, if you guys recall.
Yeah.
But then hopefully it didn't, because I definitely want to see how they're gonna handle like Logtown. Like that's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen the like other anime live actions. Like I saw the We Don't Talk About the Death Note
yeah,
live action and the Cowboy Bebop. So I feel when I watched the live action of One Piece, I was kind of having that same expectation of, oh, this is not going to be that great. But you know what? I'm going to give it a chance, watch it anyway. And I ended up loving it a lot. I really love the live action, which honestly, I feel like if it wasn't for the live action, I wouldn't have been as interested in watching the anime for One Piece.
Oh, see, that's really interesting because that's something that we were hoping as One Piece fans, that people would see the live action, enjoy it enough to actually check out the original. But so the fact that you're saying that it had that effect on you is a really cool thing. It means that the live action, even though it's its own separate thing, that it actually did its job.
I think it's a successful adaptation if it does that, right? Like, if it's making people more interested, they want to watch season 2 of the live action, they want to go check out the anime or the manga, I think that's a W for all One Piece fans.
For sure, yeah. It made me be like, you know what? I want to know what goes past this. I want to see how the anime handles, these certain events and arcs and stuff. And I'm very pleasantly like happy with how the anime is going. So I'm excited to continue watching it. I don't want to keep comparing it to the live action because, like you said, they are two different entities. They are,
I think it's fun.
you
Like
know,
it's definitely two different
yeah.
entities, but it's okay to compare it every now and then. Like it was a funny
Mm.
note that you're like, yeah, we're gonna be seeing a lot more of Kobe. I'm excited. It's like, uh, I don't want to spoil, but the anime does tend to take its time with certain characters that we love. It's like we'll see them again for sure, and they'll definitely have some
Mm.
focus, but maybe not as soon as the live action did it. You know.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
you'll
because the
definitely
pacing's
be able to like compare and see what they do differently, and we'll see by the end of. I believe the live action ends with Arlong Park. Once we finish Arlong Park, we can kind of compare and see what you like better so far.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a good
excited for
idea.
that
Like, I
one.
think you'll be
That's a great.
unbiased. Like you watched we all read the manga, watched the anime. We watched 1,000 episodes or 1,000 chapters. So going into live action, like we're super biased. But for you, if you've watched the same amount of both, I think it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, that's actually the arc I'm most excited about because that was my favorite part of the live action was Arlong Park. So I'm really excited to see how the anime handles it.
Hell yeah. Dude, Arlong Park is and there's an arc called Baratier, if you remember, where like when Sanji's introduced in the live action with
Yeah.
the sea restaurant, that has a whole arc in the anime versus it's not really an arc in the live action. It's kind of just like a transition point from one to another. Like you get like 15 episodes or something for Baratier.
Oh
And
my
I don't
god.
think you get that anything. Like you don't get like any fights or anything happening at Baratier in the live action, if I remember. Maybe like a little bit with Arlong.
Yeah, so live action basically turns Baratie as an introduction to Arlong, as like a
Hmm.
setup for Arlong Park. Um, it does the job of introducing Sanji, but then it's all really a setup for Arlong Park, whereas the anime and manga really take its time with Baratie and with Arlong Park, because I would argue that Arlong Park parts were very rushed. So I think the manga and the anime do it much better, but we'll see if Poseidon agrees when we get to that point.
Mhm.
Cool.
For
So,
sure.
are you available next Tuesday, or do we have to do it like every other Tuesday? I can't
I
remember.
actually am available next Tuesday. I'm looking at my
W.
calendar right now.
Okay, so next Tuesday, probably around 4. The time might change. We'll definitely talk with like in our group chat. We covered Romance Dawn, just like a very quick intro episode, but we do want to cover Orange Town next week. Do you want to cover Orange Town and Syrup Village, or is that too much? 'Kay, I know you already started. I
How
don't know how much of Orange Town you've already done.
I believe I'm on the last episode, which is episode 8.
Oh, so you're basically already done Orange Town. So I
Yeah,
say
almost
we
done.
do Orange Town and Syrup Village.
Yeah.
I'll send you like the links and the info and stuff if you want to do One Piece. It might cut it down just a little bit, but not much early on. I do want to tell you, like, One Piece is definitely one of those shows, in my opinion, that gets better and better and better. However, sometimes the pacing in the anime gets worse and worse and worse. Um,
I can imagine.
yeah. So
And I'm really looking forward to talking more about Zoro and Nami because they're gonna obviously get a lot more
all right, yeah.
action soon. So yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts, and we'll talk about all those characters. So far, you like Zoro the most. Overall, you're enjoying and you're excited. Do you have a favorite moment that we can end off with, like something that really, like probably your favorite moment of Romance Dawn, or is it just the dog scene from Orange Town?
The dog scene's definitely the most memorable for me because that one I was actually like crying.
Fair, fair.
But I really the scene that I'm getting into mind right now was Nami when she is like sneaking into Avina's ship. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go get the treasure. Or no, that's Orange Town. Never mind.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh,
You're
that's
good.
Bucky.
It could be
That's
the
Bucky's
scene
thing.
with the dog. So next week we'll probably briefly cover Orange Town since you already kind of watched it, and
Yeah.
we'll cover Syrup Village as well. And I'll send you all the information, just letting everyone in chat know what we're covering. I hope everyone enjoyed. And Mac, if you want to roll the outro. By the way, everyone check out Poseidon on like Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, the stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say that Nami's introduction was definitely my favorite introduction in One Piece for a while, and then there was one that's better. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, I loved Nami's introduction, and we can talk about that more next time. Thank you so much, Poseidon, for joining us. Thank you, Briggs, for setting this up and making it happen. Let us know, everyone, if you enjoyed this, if you want to see more of it, and check out Poseidon as well. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang.
Bye.